this is another attempt at this. Let's see. There it goes. As soon as I see my ugly face right there, I will know it's good. Syncing up. Okay. Oh, look at my ears. I have the ears. My ears are frozen. Come on, ears. Show us your ears. Ears. There it goes. Okay. All right. This is like another attempt at this because the first time we did it, we went through a really long talk about the topic, and it went nowhere. So we were basically talking to ourselves, and yeah.
And second time I said words.
She said words. They were words that I do believe in the First Amendment very strongly, but I also believe in consequences, and she
and there
just,
were consequences to this
the consequences were that I started over.
And you got yelled at.
You did not get yelled at. I did not yell at you.
No, she didn't.
But anyway, there was a conversation on my Facebook. Like so many things happen on Facebook these days. Like so many conversations. And this conversation was about piracy and how artists need to just accept it and understand that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery and basically get over themselves. That's the best way I can paraphrase the conversation. It was a good conversation. I am not knocking down the people that were discussing it. They had some valid points, but I only halfway agree. And the reason why is because of my own experience in webcomics, why I only halfway agree. And plus observing some things that's happened here and there over the years. So they were saying that if someone is pirating your stuff, that's good for you. That's free promotion. And I say that it really depends on the situation. It really does. And you know, how many licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop.
3.
This is why I had to start over! Because we can't be serious! So first we need to identify piracy, especially in relation to webcomics. That's where the topic is.
Yes.
And what it's about. And in our case, we're also going to identify levels that help to identify why. Why? Why? I haven't beat you to death with a pillow yet. Why? Why it can be good and why it can be bad. So to identify internet piracy, to be precise, because there still are high seas pirates out there. If you didn't know that, now you do. There still are high sea pirates out there.
And not all of them are in Somalia.
I didn't know that they were in Somalia. I just know that they're out there.
Somalia is apparently famous for its pirates. But anyway, we're talking about online piracy.
Really?
Yes.
I will not be going to Somalia anytime soon.
I'm not saying words because then
I know that cruise ships run a risk of hitting high sea pirates. So just think of yourself as a cruise ship. When you are an artist putting your stuff out digitally, you are the cruise ship, or the internet's your cruise ship, or I don't know, I don't care.
The internet's the ocean. Your content is your cruise ship. Will it be hijacked by pirates and demolished, or will it be hijacked by pirates and will you be able to defend it?
Or held for ransom?
Or held for ransom at the cost of your ship, or will you emerge victorious and stronger than ever?
Preferably with fireballs.
Yes.
So, I don't know. I put out a short video about kittens, and somebody takes that short video, and I've been seeing it, and people don't think this is piracy, but you see people, they'll take the videos off of YouTube, and then they'll put like something around it, like, this is what happens when you give Oreos to a kitten. and it's this kitten that somebody else did, but they're re-uploading it with their own little phrase around it, and they're getting the views and the comments and stuff for that other person's effort.
Meanwhile, the person who's are they feeding the kittens Oreos or are they not? We don't know because the original content has been completely stripped and demolished.
That happens sometimes.
Because
sometimes all they do is they put a cute little frame around it so they can get attention and re-upload it somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
That is a form of piracy. So another form of piracy is the famous kind where you download music illegally. As a matter of fact, there's a song by a folk musician called Tom Smith that it's an old song. It was "I Want My Music on Napster," and it was talking about how he wished he was popular enough for you to pirate his stuff. He wished, because it would have been good for him, which is part of the debate. I would like to come up with a third example because the golden rule. Because I mean, in my opinion, intellectual theft is a form of piracy. So there's plagiarism. A certain very large movie company stealing scenes from other movies to put into their animations, and basically, or stealing the format, mm-hmm. or in one company's case, stealing people's characters. That is I probably will be on my deathbed pissed off about that.
Are we talking about Kimbo? Are we talking about a white kitty cat or a girl in a pretty dress with a white bat?
Oh, you mean the Kimba fiasco? I wasn't thinking of the Kimba fiasco. The Kimba... What's the word I'm looking for? Conspiracy? The conspiracy theory? Because,
Because that's just crazy talk.
It's just crazy talk,
People do not steal.
But I do want to make a point here that a conspiracy theory suggests that there's evidence, because without evidence, it's just a conspiracy hypothesis. I'm just saying.
So your example, you're talking about a girl in a dress and a necromancer with a white bat.
There's a necromancer with a white bat?
Well, he's falling apart. You remember his dance routine? His body falls apart and then his head bounces around.
I don't think we're on the same page anymore.
Okay, stop talking. But anyway.
I was thinking of a certain cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember a necromancer in that cartoon.
Well, he wasn't exactly.
I do remember a school in that cartoon.
Did they ride broomsticks? Anyway.
Oh my God! I'm not gonna tell you. That, in my opinion, is also piracy, and it's one of the, there's levels, and this is piracy.
Okay, you mean a more, yeah.
So all of these areas of piracy are our own definition, really just mine. She's just along for the ride because I'm an asshole.
I have my own opinions, but
she has her own opinions.
My opinions,
but her opinions get me turning off the live stream. So let's start with the light and go to the top like we did before. Only this time we know what we're doing. So, we've established piracy. Yar. Peg-a-leg pirate. So the softest form of piracy would be fan art, believe it or not. And it's but that's fan art, it's harmless. Yeah, I agree. I am please give me fan art. I love you, give me fan art. If you give me fan art at a convention at my table, I won't kiss you because that will make my husband jealous. Or if not jealous, it might make you uncomfortable.
Because he'll be watching.
Actually, the truth is I find kissing gross. Mouths.
Even through a mask.
Even through a mask.
It's the fact
I'll blow you a kiss.
It's the fact that your mouth is there.
But fan art is actually a good thing, unless it's the kind of fan art that's meant to undermine. Mm-hmm. There are, I guess that would be considered anti-fan art, though. If it's not, from the love, it's done from the hate. of the thing.
And
Like,
instead of trying to inspire it to grow and share the love, it's like, this is a thing that sucks and is a sucky thing and it needs to be hated, and this is why.
and satire could be considered a form of anti-fan art.
That could be helpful, or it could not be.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, there's been some stuff I discovered in love that I found through satire.
Mm-hmm.
So but it is indeed a good thing. It's a pop art thing. It lets the audience participate and express their love, and it lets you see how they're feeling, which is important as a creator. And it is indeed a type of free promotion. So, guys, whenever you're, I don't know, in the thing writing a fanfic about Mickey Mouse, hooking up with Axe Cop, apparently.
Our Axe Cop.
Our Axe Cop.
Who wouldn't want to hook up with Axe
I know,
Cop?
really. Axe Cop. That's your fan art. You're giving the creators free promotion, and being willing to do that for the independent creators a bit more would help. And for those of you that want to stick it to the man, that is the best way to stick it to the man, is stop talking about their stuff and start promoting the little guys that you do like. And just not even like give Mickey Mouse the time of your day. Just don't. I know I never finished that video game. I tried though. Did try.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, I think I know what you're talking about.
I liked that game. I just couldn't play it. I suck at those jumpy games. Fucking jumpy games. I'm a 2-bit person. I come from 2-bit. When they started putting jumpy games in Final Fantasy, I think it's about when I walked away. Because it was like, okay, I can't do this, and it's frustrating, and it's not fun.
I walked away when I had to try to play that underwater soccer ball.
There was an
cricket
underwater soccer ball cricket game.
Yeah.
That must be after I walked away.
Yeah, it was Final Fantasy X, but we're not talking about that.
we could do a podcast, and we could do a video about that at some point. Talk about why we walked away from this popular thing. What drove us away?
The side quest.
You too can walk away. Hashtag walk away.
But yeah, fan art, cosplaying, fan art that you're not selling or making any kind of profit on. You're just like, hey, I have this blog. I draw this picture of this character. See my picture of this character. This is who the character is. This is where they're from. This is who created the character. Go worship.
Oh, worship this character. I love this character. I love this character.
That's where the majority of the webcomics that I got into, that's how it got started, was...
that's how I found Lady Gaga.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I got into Lady Gaga, was through a filk. The woman did Bad Romance, but about the French Revolution.
That's right.
Yeah, and that's how I got into Lady Gaga. So, I mean, fan art like that is a good thing. Now her example is kind of in the middle, but, when people are doing that is definitely a compliment, and enjoy the hell out of it. I mean, I've had my share of fan art through the days, and oh my gosh, I think I still have the one that the Endavo guy did somewhere. That was awesome. I mean, that was awesome, getting his fan art. So that's probably the softest piracy. And I mean, there are people that discourage this. They don't want you doing their characters. Take, for example, Disney. They do to a point, but then there's this level that you don't go past, or you're going to be facing their very serious lawyers. They're very serious lawyers that look like buzzards in black suits.
Oh wait, buzzards don't caw.
No,
they hiss. Anyway, continue.
When's the last time you watched DuckTales exactly?
I know you were talking about, but I was talking about real buzzards.
I was thinking DuckTales.
I was not thinking corporate buzzards. I was thinking about
they're corporate buzzards. Or maybe not even buzzards. Let me see. If I were to animalify, anthropomorphify a Disney lawyer.
No, because buzzards actually put an effort into their scavenging.
We don't know that much about them. Be nice. You know, I'm just thinking of the aura they put out. You know, they would be shadows. I don't know. Anyway. I'm like totally going on a tangent. It's going to end up in a comic that I don't have time to make.
Yep.
So they've got their limits, and acting like that can actually harm your comic. There was a famous comic, a rather popular comic, Homestuck, and I think it's still popular.
Maybe, but not nowhere near.
Not the way it was.
No.
For a couple of years, every convention over in St. Louis that I went to, there were Homestuck cosplayers everywhere. I was so freaking jealous. I could have died. I was like, why? And then I can't remember how it happened, but the creator objected to, I believe it was the making of the horns.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been a while, and I don't remember the details now.
Mm-hmm.
And
maybe he had a legit reason.
Maybe he did.
Maybe he didn't.
But
know.
I watched as the cosplaying died out because they were being told essentially no. And I don't know. I'm under the impression, and I could be wrong, I'm under the impression that it was because the people were making horns at tables at conventions and basically making money off his effort. And that was a little bit more what we're calling hard piracy than he was comfortable with. But I don't remember. You know, I wish I could remember. I don't think I would find it if I looked. This was something that I witnessed in person happening.
Not webcomics, but Firefly, when they tried to well, not Firefly per se, but a licensing company tried to license the James hat, which is pretty much like a pink and orange hat.
I remember that, and they shut her down. There was I think she was selling her hats on Etsy.
Yeah. And she wasn't the only one, and then it became a war between the homemade hats and then the official licensed Jane hats. So you could continue to make, these hats that looked like a Jane hat, but you could not call them Jane hats.
But that's past fan art. That's a step above fan art. We're still in the fan art realm.
Okay.
We're still discussing fan art.
Okay.
Yeah.
Back on topic.
Yeah.
That made me start a live stream again. Basically, fan art is okay when you're not making money off of it.
Well, I mean, I actually wouldn't mind you selling prints of my stuff. I mean, that kind of fan art is good. That kind of fan art is good for you. And then you get into a little bit more gray area where you've got somebody who's got the table, and their entire table is where they're doing fan art of like Green Lantern and Wonder Woman and I don't know, Homestuck, and they're selling prints of their work, and that's all they do is nothing but fan art at their table.
Mm-hmm.
But they manage to somehow draw the entire room's audience, and your table just sits there completely ignored next to them, to the point that everybody's collaborating around his table in front of your table, so nobody can even see you to get to you because rude much. And
you're not talking from personal experience or anything.
No. That's a little bit darker gray area, and I personally don't mind it, but I do when it's rude much. I mind it when it's rude much.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that is definitely good for the people that you are promoting through your fan art, but it's almost always super popular stuff that they're promoting, so it doesn't help the little guy at all.
Mm-hmm.
But, it also, in my opinion, hurts them as artists, because it's already hard enough to sell your own stuff. It's already hard enough to get people to notice you for your creativity.
Mm-hmm.
So you're piggybacking off of somebody's intellectual property to make money, probably because you have to. I mean, I've been there, done that. And then there's no room left for your own stuff. Or if there is, no one's going to look. They're too busy looking at that Wonder Woman in the corner.
Yeah.
You know, and it also hurts the other artists in the room. Because now everybody has spent all of their money on you and there's nothing left. Or they spent all of their attention, or that's all they came to see and now they have to go. I mean, there's so many things. So, I mean, that kind of fan art is more harmful than good, and it's not free promotion, and it does hold back the indie artist to some degree on some level. There's always going to be, you know, pluses and minuses, and that's one of the minuses to that. But overall, fan art itself is good, and you want fan art. I want fan art. Give me fan art. Risky. So I can't remember what was next. We were of the soft porn piracy.
Fan art, kayak cosplay, which is a type
cosplay.
Of fan.
Cosplay is a
Then
type
you
of fan
get
art.
into-
I think personally, cosplay is probably one of the most flattering forms of fan art. That and a filk. Oh my gosh! Write a filk about my stuff.
And then there's the intellectual property.
Which that's where we were going with the guy in the table scenario, or the people selling the Homestuck horns, or you know. But yeah, there are people that have done well and not done well. It is definitely something that I would say is good. I can't remember what the next level was. We should have written it
There
down.
was the light gray. Then
Yeah, we're in the light gray now. We're going to try to step out of the light gray. We're trying to step
Into
out of the
the
cosplay fan art area.
Darker light.
A little bit darker.
Medium gray.
What was it? Let's see. We have fan art. We have people downloading. Okay, we have fan art and all things associated with fan art.
People taking pictures of the webcomic and using it as like their internet icon.
Okay,
banner.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. What are you talking about? Is there an example here? What? Do I need to know about this? Do I need to hunt somebody down and thank them for loving my shit? Oh, darn. Okay. You had my hopes up. I'm sad. No, there's the fan art. Yeah, and then there's the sharing. Okay, so fan art aside, then there's just somebody who does like she was saying with the web icon. Oh, I know, like when you make your own. You're talking about when somebody makes an avatar, like I did with Lelouch for a while. I had like Lelouch icons all over the place. Oh my god, I loved him. And then I didn't finish
People
the series.
see the icon and they go, it's like, oh, cool icon. Where is that from? And it's like, it is from this place.
Mm-hmm.
Here is where you access it. Go worship.
Yeah.
Or you could be a real shitty person and say, it's like, oh, that's a good idea. And, you know, claim it as your own.
Yeah, well, you see them do that when it's their fan art and they never say that it's a fan art piece. They're just like, I did that. And it's true they did. They're just admitting the fact that it's not their intellectual property.
Yeah.
You know, in the end, you know, the more we look at it, the 15th billionth time going through this debate, the more it really does look like the piracy is good for an artist or creator depending on the pirate's responsibility with their actions and how much credit they give. Credit always where credit is due.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just the bottom line on that. You know, if you give credit, then it's going to be good to, you know, until you get a little bit too far.
Yeah.
But yeah, I personally feel that making an icon out of, say, a screenshot is still a form of art. You're still creating a little art.
Mm-hmm.
It's just cream. What one of my art teachers used to call cream puff art, because it's, you know, yeah, it's like no effort, no thought. It's just this little thing. It's cream puff art. You know. Yes, Miss Bristol, I remember you.
So, and then where do fan comics fall?
Oh, that's where we're getting a little bit darker gray.
Yeah.
You know, so then we get up into the fan art that becomes fan comics and spin-offs. We talked about My Little Pony a lot last time, so we're going to bring them up again.
Yeah, and after we ran through My Little Pony, I brought up a Legend of Zelda kayak comic.
You really love that show so much that you decide to do a crossover webcomic because you really just want to see
What would happen?
No. There was one done by one of our acquaintances. He was doing My Little Pony with Fallout.
Ah.
And I never got to read it because that was kind of during my sick time. I really should find it. But he was doing My Little Pony with Fallout. Now, I don't know if he had a Patreon. I don't know if he was trying to make money. But it was indeed a spin-off where he was taking this intellectual property and creating his own thing, and he was putting it online as a serialized webcomic. That was a little bit darker gray. It was fan art. It was being shared. Um, it would have become a problem if he started to basically make a living off of it and monetize it, because he did not have the rights to those characters or the concepts. Now, he might have had the rights to the My Little Pony characters. I'm pretty sure they don't have the rights to the style. If he had put Pinkie Pie in it, that might have been a problem. Fallout, I'm pretty sure. But I don't know if he just took the two concepts of the world of Fallout versus the world of My Little Pony and combined, or if it really was actually My Little Pony and Fallout put together. But he did jump off of someone else's ideas and go with that, and then spin off. And that's a little bit darker gray of Piracy. It's fan art, but yet you're trying to profit off of it in some way.
As original content.
Well, not necessarily as original content. He did say it was a Fallout My Little Pony crossover.
Okay.
But it's more that he was also trying to get attention. He was trying to get paid in attention, perhaps, if nothing else, because otherwise, that's why you put it on the internet, so people will see it. That's attention. So that's a little bit grayer, and some companies feel differently about it than others. Like My Little Pony, they loved their fans. They loved what their fans were doing for the most part. I do remember wind of them objecting to one item, but I can't remember what it was now. So, it's just not something I got thrust into. But even with the one, because they're doing the other series, or they were doing the other series. I've lost contact. But the one, they had so many fan things in the final episode. Pinkie Pie and cheese sandwich forever. I don't know. The reason why I got into dark My Little Pony was Discord's conspiracy theory, and they ruined that. That's all I can say.
And in my example, the Zelda comic, it took the characters, the Princess Zelda and Gandorf, had them, have a meeting of the minds, and marriage happens, wackiness ensues, and they're in the process of having their first kid. Now, she started this comic originally just because it's like she likes Zelda, she likes off the wall romances. It's like she has this idea, she can draw, she can write, why not? She was posting it, then she started getting a following, then she set up a Patreon page. And occasionally she donates some of her original fan art to charity causes, or sells it for money.
But she's still making money off of other people's intellectual property. Is that the point?
Yes.
Okay. So she's still in the darker gray area. No matter what nice thing she does with the money, she's still in that area. But I'm pretty sure that somebody isn't freaking out about it yet, or she would have been, gotten a cease and desist letter already.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but this is, if the people who actually own Legend of Zelda, caught wind of it,
and had a problem with it. Nintendo's got a problem with it,
they have more than enough power.
Now, mind you, Nintendo has sued a guy for having a tattoo. So, when it comes to those big companies, you ain't playing with no kitten,
Coca-Cola once sued a guy for getting a tattoo because the tattoo faded and was no longer the approved shade of red.
Red is like one of the hardest colors to keep in your skin.
Yes. So really, he shouldn't have done that.
I don't think they had the right to sue him, but do not get me started on that. Do not get me started on that. That was his body. He was not using it to make money. That was down at the very bottom of the piracy fan art area. And I'm sorry they did him like that. It's like the Nintendo guy that got sued. He was like, I will never play another Nintendo game again. So I think it was Nintendo. It might have been a different company. Anyway, this happened. This thing happened. You know, if the company does not have a problem with it, like the bulk of My Little Pony fan stuff, then in my opinion, it's okay. You know, it is okay. But if the company is objecting, then the company deserves the consequences of their behavior, kind of like what happened with Homestuck.
So,
yeah. I mean, you know, I don't know.
But
I feel for the Homestuck guy. I really do.
But we're talking about people doing small things.
You keep trying to push us up into the other area that we're not there yet.
Well, I mean, it's like we've talked about, you know, the fan art and the stuff with the, you know, what happens when you go up by the bit, you know, little guys going up against the.
But we haven't discussed the effects of how these people that are making money off of somebody else's intellectual property, because the question is piracy good for your webcomic? And
yes,
we're just kind of jumping all over the intellectual area, but we're trying to stick to webcomics. And I think that when it comes to, like, say, her Zelda and Ganondorf situation, if Legend of Zelda were a webcomic, probably not. I don't think it would help it at all, because she has created an entirely new thing. So you read this thing and people get it because they already know it. And they, you know, and so there's already this fan base that she's pulling from, and so that does not help the webcomic at all, except maybe once in a while. It's not as supportive or helpful as, say, what was that woman you were talking about? She was accused of doing a steampunk.
Oh, there was a cosplayer that people were accusing was doing a female Joker in a steampunk outfit. Only it turns out she wasn't cosplaying as the Joker at all. She was cosplaying as a completely different character that was steampunky looking and had clown makeup on. And because of this outrage, that comic got more exposure.
Yeah, see, so that helped out the webcomic. That was definitely free promotion. But, you know, when it comes to, like, say, somebody just cosplaying as the Joker.
Yeah, everybody knows who the Joker is.
So it's going to help somewhat, but not as much as it would for an indie person, not really. It's no longer that much. I mean, it's free promotion, but it's free promotion for something that already has a really huge budget for promotion. So it's just a drop in the bucket for them. In some cases, there's been cases where the popular movement was, you know, the best thing, you know, and it would take us all night to dig up all of that. I don't want to. I have ears. Your ears. So. But stepping out of the gray area and going a little bit higher up from the spinoffs, let's see, would be the middle of piracy, the one that everybody's always familiar with, where you just download something because you just want it. You're not downloading it to share. You're not downloading it to support. You know, there are, which I guess just because you want it is a step above to share, because, like, for example, Jonathan Colton, rather popular musician, geek musician, his entire, well, it might have changed, I don't know, his entire model was based on piracy. He wants you to download his music. He wants you to share his music. He's like, Tom Smith, I want my music on Napster. You know, he wants this. It's good for him. The word of mouth is his best promotional engine. He loves you for it.
As long as you give him credit.
Oh, that's very important, the credit part. You can even do covers of his songs, providing you're not trying to make money off his stuff. except for the Portal song, Rebecca. Because he doesn't own the rights to that one.
To the Portal song. It's like, yes. Ask us how we found out about this.
Yes, because we wrote a filk for it.
And it's like, no, you can't. Yeah, you can't do the filk.
Oh no, I wasn't told I can't do it. I was told to do it. I was told do it at your own risk. Because he didn't talk to me directly. Yeah, it was like his PR guy. Nice fellow. You know, I would have liked to have heard from Jonathan himself because I'm like that. It's just a Southern thing. But you know, yeah, he doesn't own the rights to the Pearl song, so no.
They don't. Well,
no, he didn't at the time. He might now.
Well, no, I'm trying to segue into the.
Yeah, don't do that yet. We'll get to that.
Okay.
We'll get to that. Right now. Right now. We're talking about sharing stuff that actually builds in promotion, which kind of segues off of fan art. Kind of. You know, you were more fun when you weren't watching your mouth. She's watching her mouth because she knows if she says something live, she's gonna get us all in trouble, and then we'll like we'll go to YouTube jail.
Yes.
Calling people sensitive is one of those things we don't do, even though they deserve it.
Why am I even here?
The first time was more fun. We were having a lot more fun.
Yeah.
Oh, that made us so terrible.
It's always fun the first time. Unless it's not.
But the point is, and this area, this golden sharing area, is what most of the webcomic models are based on. Because you serialize your comic, you put it up, usually page for free on the internet for people to read for free normally. They read it for free. And then you sell merchandise, hoping that they will love you enough to support you and want that plushie or that t-shirt or that that comic.
Or your comic in print. You may even include a little tip jar off the side.
Yeah, which, you know, that's like standard there. So, you know.
There's actually some that I come across that still don't do that.
Really? There's people that just
post
I mean,
it for free.
So many people get into webcomics these days expecting to make money. It's like, surprise!
And then there's people who it's like, oh, people want to give me money. It's like, and it's like literally the fans hounding them into it's like set up a way for me to give you money now or I will just stop reading your comic.
Those are the good fans. Those are the fans that appreciate the hard work you're doing. They're the ones that really, really, really love you, you know, and they want to see you succeed, and they feel like they're freeloading as opposed to the other kind of fans that are the next level up. We'll discuss this in a minute. In fact, I don't even think people like that are fans. I mean, they're fans, but they're not fans. You know,
we're talking about the freeloaders,
fans,
not the PS.
Shush! Freeloaders! Ah! Okay, now you're right. We're talking about freeloaders.
Yeah, not the people who are like, it's like, I love you so much. Take my money.
Those are fans. Like, you take the word fan and you put glitter on it, and you have like a Photoshop script that's making the glitter sparkle. That's a fan, man. You know, those people are amazing. You know, even the ones that if they can't afford to support you financially, but they go to a forum and they say, hey, everybody read this, which we've had down on Akashic. She thinks I did not find that, but I did. I found that, if you're listening, and it made me smile all day long. Yeah, those are like fans, and you know, you want those fans. I don't know. Even just commenting on the webcomic page, you know, that's the interaction helps the webcomic model to succeed, because the webcomic model is indeed based off of the idea of internet piracy. It's not internet piracy because the stuff's being given away. In a sense, the ability to look is being given away, so that's not piracy. But it is indeed pretty close to the model, you know, so that it's slightly related. you know. But I don't know. I mean, Neil Gaiman figured this out, and I believe he had to argue with his publisher, and he had some of his books released in torrent for free. So people were downloading these books, and some probably thought that they were downloading them illegally. And woo, black market. And his popularity exploded in Russia. Neil Gaiman figured out that this particular share model is the golden standard of how you're going to get your stuff out there on the internet. Mm-hmm. And Jonathan Coulton, we've already discussed how he uses the same model. Sluggy Freelance. I mean, that's how I got into Sluggy Freelance, was that I stumbled across this comic and I was like, what is this? Oh, it's a comic on the internet. Wow. You can read it for free. I think I sat in front of my computer all day just busting out laughing. Just, you know, there wasn't more than like a year or two of Sluggy Freelance online back then, though. That's how long I've been in this. So, and Unicorn Jelly. Unicorn Jelly, which, yeah, Unicorn Jelly. My eyes bled. I read that until my eyes were bleeding down my cheeks because I was like, must get to end. So, yeah. But then you've got the next step up, and that's the freeloaders that she mentioned. Mm-hmm. And I consider them freeloaders because that's exactly what they are. How to explain a freeloader? Because a fan that downloads something because they're a fan, but they just can't afford to purchase it, that's not always a freeloader.
No, that's someone
who's a fan.
Who's a fan, and
you want them reading your stuff because you never know when it's going to turn around for them.
And they can't. Yeah, that's the only way they can get their content. A freeloader goes to the site, has no interactions whatsoever.
Yeah, it doesn't give a damn thing back.
And takes the content and goes and posts it somewhere else as their content.
Well, not even as their content. They just takes it. They do, they just go off with it.
Yeah.
They may not even post it as theirs, but they won't give credit either.
No, they won't. They just repost it somewhere where people, actually see it.
Some of them just keep it because they liked it, and they don't necessarily have to share it to be a freeloader. What makes them a freeloader is they're not invested in seeing the item continue. A true fan is the person that says, I love your work. A true fan is the person that gives all of that interaction that many artists out there need to feel like they're not wasting their freaking time on you. A freeloader is someone that the time is wasted on because they come and whatever they choose to do or however they choose to handle it. And we're going to talk about the darker gray pirate freeloaders that don't share because they're even a darker shade. The secret freeloaders, the private freeloaders, the private buccaneers. Not even private buccaneers, the golems of the universe. I don't know.
The hoarders.
Yeah, the hoarders. It's wasted because, well, first off, some of them, and I'm not going to say all of them because that would be typecasting on this, and some that I have actually met in the flesh actually feel entitled to your work, like you're some sort of art slave for them. Mm-hmm. It's on the internet, it should be free. One guy told me that it really pissed him off that I had taken Akashic and put it in book form. It pissed him off. It should remain on the internet free. And it's like, so I can't sell this in paper form and possibly make an income so that I can pay for the website that I'm maintaining that costs money every month that I would really need to upgrade badly.
It's like, no.
No, why? Because he felt entitled to my hard work. And it was just this sense of entitlement. And it's like, well, I don't see you out there. And I'm willing to bet, that this guy that we had met, well, you weren't there, that I had met that day, if he had been the one drawing the comic, he would have felt very different. But you
Yeah.
see him
And
trying to do a
it
comic.
wasn't like he was being made to buy
No, he
the
wasn't being
book.
forced to pay a damn dime.
He could have continued. He could have kept his mouth shut and just continued reading it for free, or just said it's like, oh yeah, I read it for free, so I don't need to buy it.
Which I would have
this book.
understood. Then and some people aren't inclined to, but you told me I'm reading it for free. So although I really want, appreciate that you've got the book out. That's really awesome. I don't feel inclined to. Oh, great. Well, what was your favorite part in the chapter? Tell me that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to, but let me tell you something. Hearing that makes me want to make more. Makes a lot of artists want to make more.
Mm-hmm.
And it shows that you are invested in our effort, because it is an effort, and it gets really disheartening when you're putting out all that effort and all you get are these silent people that won't participate, that take the art and not say a damn thing
And take it for granted.
Yeah, take it for granted. Exactly, take it for granted.
And it's like, oh well, if this goes on your head, it's like, on to the next thing.
So yeah, those kind of freeloaders, they're definitely not the kind of person who's just shy, who does enjoy it, and they're looking forward to the next. Maybe they're not articulate enough to say I like it. Maybe they're scared to say I like it. Maybe they're scared to admit that they downloaded it. I mean, there are degrees to this, like there's with anything. But the entitled guys, they're definitely freeloaders.
Yeah.
They're definitely expecting something for nothing. And they don't understand that that's something, just because it's free doesn't mean it's not worth anything. Because there's a growing amount of people who think that because something's free, that means it's not worth anything. And it's like, no, it's free because somebody is being kind. And that kindness is sometimes worth all the gold in China. Kindness is a very valued thing. Appreciate my kindness. Although, because I do have 2 comics that I have out completely for free that have no tip jars. They're finished. I could take them down if I wanted to. They're out there for you to read for free.
If you can find them.
Well, it's on the website. There's links.
Will you accept it? No? Then.
One is an Elf Quest tale.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. It's like Richard Peany knows about it and everything.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it's spawned by an argument with him. So there, roar. So, going up from the freeloaders, then we've got the next level up freeloader. And these guys, in my opinion, are the true pirates. The freeloaders that we just discussed are not good for your creation. They're not. Now, there might be a freeloader one day wakes up, opens his eyeballs, realizes he's,
The error of their ways.
or just gets overwhelmed with affection about the matter that they want to express. Fan letters used to be like a thing. It used to be like, there used to be fan clubs, and it's like the things are getting so disconnected now. People don't realize that the human interaction artists need more than some others, and fan art and fanfics and whatever.
Fandoms used to be
Fandom used to be about the fans. Yeah, sure, the icon was in the middle, but it used to be about the fans, so the fans could connect and feel connected and part of a community.
So, now they kind of banded together and kind of, well...
No, they're not banded together. That's the problem, they're not banded together.
Yeah. Anyway, that goes into toxic fandom.
Yeah, we can't get into toxic fandom. Although toxic fandom can bring down your art.
Yes.
But that's a topic for another day, I think.
It's not pirate. Well, is it? Anyway,
is it?
Is it piracy or is it not? It's
I don't think so. I think that's just
piracy.
more about attitude and the things that toxic fans can do. Yeah. So then we've got the kind of freeloader that are basically actual pirates. And my comic Heavenly Bride, which I forgot, I went and put them up in the closet. I have a door. I'm getting a book.
She's getting a book.
I am back with the book.
She's back with the book.
This used to be a webcomic online. And because of the freeloader pirates, it was really, really harmed. And there are other examples, but we're going to start with the Heavenly Bride. Now, these guys are definitely, what happened is definitely an example of when piracy is not good for your art. And is why, when it comes to the whole debate, I'm kind of yes and no, it really depends. Heavenly Bride, which its website still stands at theheavenlybride.com. I can't remember if I posted it every week or it's been a while, but maybe week. It was probably weekly. And I had a small fan base. Didn't really go through a lot of trouble to promote it because, you know, it had sexy time in it and oh no, I showed a bare breast and that people, the prudes of the universe, decided that meant that my stuff was porn. I actually had my it removed from some places because they decided it was porn. It is not porn.
No, it's not.
Softcore
porn is more hardcore than the comic.
I don't even think it's. Well, I guess it could be borderline cheesecake because I show some stuff, but cheesecake is a little bit more risque. And these sexy time scenes that happen in the comic itself is like all of like 2, I think. There's 2 sexy time scenes, maybe 3.
Yeah, a robe falls off and you see it, and you see a breast and a bare chest. You do not see the penetrative parts.
No, but I did do shadows on the wall.
You did do shadows on, but so does Disney.
Peter Pan, my goodness, boy. Yeah. So you know, there was a membership tier. And I had a free tier, and I had a paid tier, and a third up paid tier. So I had 2 people in the paid tiers, and 2 people, and 3 people in the paid tiers, and 2 people in the non-paid tier. And then there was a host of other people that were definitely coming to the website regularly, but did not sign in, did not speak to me, did not tell me once ever that they liked what was going on. No communication, nothing. I had communication from my 2 main fans, 3 main fans, because Beasley was one of the members. So we had 3 main fans.
I don't count.
No,
so she's not talking about me.
You were in Germany, I believe, when this happened. I believe you were on base in Germany. And then we had these 2 guys, and they would just come in and come once in a while. And I knew they were coming regularly. And so I was like, I've got these silent fans. And it was frustrating not getting any communication because I was starting to wonder, why am I trying? So one fan realized I was starting to get disheartened and started talking to me more. And God love him, you know. He has many personal pieces I have given him and things. And but one day I stumbled across one of those webcomic hubs where they house like various webcomics, kind of like webtoons. And there was the Heavenly Bride that I was not putting there. They were putting it there. They were taking the art off my website and they were posting it at this hub that I had never heard of. So I'm pretty sure I didn't set it up to be automated either. And it was very demoralizing that these freeloaders were coming to my site and stealing my art and posting it. And on their site were all these comments. All these people that were reading the comic. I mean, it wasn't like tons. It was like a smattering dozen, but it was more than I was getting on my own site. And that was very disheartening, demoralizing, discouraged me from creating. I just, why? Why should I try when I had these people stealing my effort, taking comments that were rightfully mine, things that my soul needed spiritually to create with, to know that I wasn't wasting my time.
And
it wasn't even credited to me.
No credit was given. No layout link was posted. No. Whether or not they were claiming it as their own or just not saying anything, letting people draw their own conclusions. It's like they were taking the art and the content from the original artist, stripping it of anything that could be linked back to the artist, and posting it somewhere else and creating their own fan base. That is not
they basically
helpful.
stole the benefits of my hard work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it just because it's not financial gain doesn't mean it's not theft. It was still very wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up shutting down working on the Heavenly Bride on the internet, and it is now no longer a webcomic. Oh, I've got chapter 1 and 2 up where you can get started on it for free there. But if you want to read the Heavenly Bride now, you got to buy the book.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got really, really, really sick and had to put it on hiatus. And so the book 3, this is book 2. Book 3 is still in the works, but it's going to be coming out. I didn't give up on it. I just had to back off because I had some health issues to deal with. You know,
she was in the process of dying.
I was dying. I was deathly ill, and and that's just how it is. And in webcomics, I know that having to put your work on hiatus or even not finish your work counts against you. But you know what? I think nearly dying is a legitimate fucking excuse. That and finances. I mean, so many webcomic stuff went down because of finances, where the people couldn't keep up, because real life was a jerk to them, and the fans get mad that they didn't finish. But it's like, but at the same token, you not once told them how wonderful their stuff was. Not once.
Like, what's the name of that kind of comic? I managed to get 2 books. Crossing the Lee, Walking the Lee. It was a kind of comic. 2 people were writing it, and they were commissioning an artist to draw it, but then they got to the point where they financially couldn't continue. They couldn't pay the artist anymore. And they were like, "It's like we're sorry. We'll go a few more updates, but we're going to have to shut down because financially we cannot support."
Mm-hmm.
And there were some last ditch efforts from fans. I was one of
Oh,
them.
really?
That
the fans tried.
Well, I tried. And maybe a couple of others tried. It's like, just flat out giving my money and then buying products from them. My books have a really nice note, and it's like, hey, thank you for trying to save us, but
that's so sad and sweet.
Yeah.
So,
but
yeah, the fact is, waiting until the last second to try to save the project that you love, probably not the time to do it.
Yeah.
This isn't like, one of those TV shows that's really popular is going to get canceled, and so the fans rally together, and then another network buys it. This is independent artists. There are no other networks to buy it, and chances are, if there were, the artist would not be willing to sell it.
Mm-hmm.
It's their baby.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing to support, but it's a good thing to also know what you're doing to support and whether or not it's actually going to help or harm. Jonathan Colton's music is the next example of how the thieves work, but he managed to turn it around to his benefit. But he also had a fan base to do it. Mm-hmm. When you don't have the kind of fans that like I didn't, then what happened to me? That's a death blow.
Yeah, they were able to get away with it. Oh, you could sue. No. Not everybody. First of all, not everybody has the money or the time.
And I'm pretty sure if I went to the Internet Protection Fund, I never can remember the name. Anyway, I'm pretty sure all they would have done is send a cease and desist letter, and that would not have turned things around.
No.
In the end, I was hurt spiritually and emotionally from the matter because I was already frustrated. And there was no way to reach out to all these fans. What was I going to do? Whine and bitch on the forum there?
Sometimes that works.
Nah.
But not always.
No, there's one time that with that music video I did with Lelouch, that the Handlebars video that ended up becoming like the thing. Mm-hmm. And the band even sanctioned it. At least that's what YouTube gave me to understand. I might have misunderstood. Anyway, somebody took it and stole it. And he's like, look at this awesome video. He didn't claim credit, but he didn't give credit either. Mm-hmm. So I messaged him. I was like, dude, I'm really flattered that you like this video. I'm wondering if you can give me the credit that I'm due. So he took it down.
Because, you know,
All I wanted was some credit. Just write my name in the freaking credits.
yeah.
You know. Well, it was also, I'm sorry, man. And I was like, by the way, did you know that I'm female? And yeah, that killed that. I don't know, but that's the way that happened. And, you know, okay. So sometimes standing up for yourself is also the wrong move. But in this case, I don't, there's nothing I could have done to turn it around. There's nothing I could have done.
We're talking about Heavenly Bride now.
Yeah, I'm talking about Helen and the Bride back again. Yeah, there's no, I don't, if there is, it's not something I'm aware I could have done, and learning about it now would help me in the future, but it's too late now.
Yeah, it wasn't flattery.
No, it was not flattery.
It wasn't promotion. There was no kindness behind it. It was
Pure selfishness.
pure selfishness, pure malice.
Even if I'm sharing this so other people can read it, no, if you were sharing it so other people could read it, you'd share it in a way that would help the artist. You're sharing it for your own personal gain. That's selfish.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what makes you a freeloader.
Yeah.
You know, because you're not giving back.
You know, citing your sources. It's like, here's their creator, you know, layout link, and stuff that can still put you on the shady side, but it's like, you know, at least you gave credit where it was due.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're...
Sometimes the shade feels good.
Yeah. So, it's like, so, you know, you're not necessarily bad or hurtful, you're just shady.
Yeah. Well, it's only shady if the people don't like it.
Yeah.
Kind of like My Little Pony. That's not shady at all. I mean, they were like, yeah, we love our fans. Well then, let me walk in the sun with you. Although me and Princess Luna, we like this. Luna. Luna forever. Fuck you, Luna.
So, yeah, but Jonathan Colton, he had his stuff
with Glee, the Glee fiasco. Jonathan Colton got the rights to do a version of Baby Got Back, and he did the version all right. It was a version. I like Jonathan Colton's
not
stuff.
A virgin.
I didn't say virgin. I said version.
I'm just making sure they understand.
Okay. Well, it's like soft porn, you know. Are you gonna start doing a dance now? His version is his version. I never cared for it, but I appreciate the
enthusiasm,
originality. Yeah, it's you know yeah. Well, Glee appreciated it too. The show Glee, and so they took it and they did it in their show without permission, without notification, and they used the sounds that he had used. It was just a complete direct imitation.
Mm-hmm.
But as I remember correctly about the fiasco, and I might be misremembering, it was legal because he was doing a cover song. So there's like shades of gray with this too. And so it was legal, but they didn't even give him credit. They could have at least given him credit for the arrangement.
Yeah. Not even monetary credit. Just, you know, put his name in the credits.
Now he had the fan base, so the fans got up. They were angry. It was a big debate. You can probably still look on YouTube to find out more about it. And so he was able to turn it around to his benefit. And so he took the license that he had and re-released the song as Baby Got Back in the style of Glee. He was able to turn it around, but when you don't have the fan base and you're just a little guy, all that's going to do is hurt you enormously. Oh gosh, what is it that something of mine was here first, and I'm always having to face the fact that somebody else put something out, and so it looks like I'm just an imitation. And I don't mean Ruby.
You said it, not me.
Something else I've done, and I have been accused of doing an imitation. It's like, no, actually, I was here several years first.
Lavinia, Battle Angel.
I don't remember. It's something. It'll come up again in the future.
It's always saying something.
Yeah, because I mean, in the end, you know, there's nothing new under the sun. It's how well you articulate it.
Yeah.
So.
But
well, I think of the Glee fiasco as these guys that did that. They are the tip top of the pirates. They are the real pirates. They are along the same lines of those guys that are getting public domain movies and re-releasing them in this copyright loophole that's out there, so that you cannot share there or do anything because.
Tarzan.
Huh? What was that?
Tarzan.
I don't think I heard you gargle. What was that? Those are the true pirates. Those guys are definitely in it for themselves, and they are going to steal your work, and they're going to steal your effort, and they are going to completely take it for their own, and they will
blame you for it,
and then blame you, kind of like Twilight. Get out, Twilight! Love you, Twilight! Twilight!
Yeah, because, you want me to do the whole explanation again?
You can do it. You can tell it this time.
Okay. So, in Heavenly Bride, there is a character. He is a walk-in reincarnation.
He's not here. I will unwrap the book.
So he's a dead guy who inhabits a dead body.
I'm going to find him.
He is Bishi, which is a manga
He's a Bishonen.
Bishonen, which
Bishi.
Yeah, which is Bishi, which is a manga term for, very attractive, flowy hair, sparkles trailing after him guy.
Well, in manga language, when you do sparkles around a guy, that means he's really, 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 really pretty, or there's just something in that moment. It's just, the sparkles of love, or whatever, gorgeousness.
So, anyway.
Depends on context.
So, and he also, to be able to maintain his life in this dead body, ends up having to consume blood, kind of like a vampire. Well, she made a...
Actually, it's a bit more than that, but...
Yeah, it's more complicated than that, but, we're doing the extremely
simple, version. Quick version.
So she had a store and did a bumper sticker.
It said, vampires don't sparkle, but Bishonen do.
And enter the Twilight Warriors, because...
No, not the lawyers. Well... Yeah, it was some Twilight affiliated thing. I'm not saying that the author of Twilight knew what was going on, because there was a couple of times that she had to step up and say, wait a minute.
Yeah.
And stand up for the fans or whatever.
Yeah.
Or at least one time that I can think of. But yeah, they made me take my shit down. My shit had nothing to do with Twilight at all. It was making fun of the popular joke, which is not Twilight. It's a popular joke. In fact, if I had had the money to fight it and could have went to court over it, I probably would have to make a point.
So, and one of the citations that they were using that it's like, oh, this is clearly a Twilight ripoff was the sparkles.
Well, I was really actually making a manga reference.
And also this panel where she drew someone holding an apple.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, the book cover of Twilight uses, if I remember correctly, 2 hands holding an apple. This was 1 hand. Yeah, and very nice hand, by the way. Not my hand.
That's not the other book.
Yeah, I was not modeling for this hand, but it was a very good, prospectively drawn hand.
I used a photo reference.
And a very delicious looking apple. And that was clear
Please
evidence.
Don't tell me you ate the page.
No. It wasn't apple flavored, of course not. Or was it?
Or was it?
But anyway, the sparkles with the hand holding the apple, clear proof that she was ripping off Twilight's intellectual property.
I think I was doing Heavenly Bride before Twilight became popular.
Yes, you were.
Yeah, I think that's what I was trying to remember. So yeah, those are the real pirates, because they used their power to hold me down, and they pirated away my thunder, so to speak.
And again,
tyrants.
And again,
tyrants!
if we haven't been cleared before, that is not a compliment.
No.
That is not flattering.
No.
That is not good for anyone except for the gluttons.
Well, until it gets out, because remember, with Glee lost a lot of viewership.
Mm-hmm.
There were people that never went back. There were some people that were swearing they wouldn't even deal with the company again, so Disney lost people that go run, and I don't know how well it's recovered. I don't care. I don't know if these people actually held true. I just remember the fiasco, and what people were saying.
Of course, my favorite version of Baby Got Back is the educational version of Anaconda, which is sanctioned.
I know. The male anaconda. Anyway.
Gets eaten by his
Oh my gosh! 40-foot long! Oh my gosh! Primarily nocturnal! We like filks, can you tell? And those kind of pirates are so at the tippy top, though. They're almost out of the realm of piracy to the point of tyranny. You know, there are others that have stolen work, like that fiasco with the guy that was in regular comics that was stealing artwork, and he was claiming it was all for himself, and he had like gotten deals to work with people, and then it all exploded on him because sooner or later, you know, you're going to get caught, and because the comic world is a very, very tiny world. You watch what you say, because somebody's going to remember, you know. But that's no different than any other social circle. And consequences, baby.
And it's the internet and social media. People are going to see. People are going to pick up on what you think is an obscure reference. Really not that obscure.
Well, that if you're hiring an artist, you want it to know that this is actually their art, because you're hiring them to create original art. You know, and there's only so many things they can rip off for an entire comic. There's only so many panels you can rip off before you run out of material and you're stuck. So, you know, that will catch up with you. And there's a certain very large syndicated corporation that does really popular movies that is actually very guilty of doing the same thing. And people speak up about it once in a while. But they're large, and those people are silenced. So, do I watch a lot of their stuff? Not really. So, sorry guys, I am not a neophyte of this corporation.
So, and there's another artist that puts out popularity starts on the web, and the comics are posted on the web. You can get them in places for free, or you could go to his Patreon and get like exclusive Patreon stuff that doesn't have the censor splashes.
Are you talking about the guy that does the naked women?
The rom-com lesbian bondage comic. He also does death visual. He also does
V-I-G-I-L, Vigil?
Yes. He also does... Why
do you always put a U in there? There is no U. It's Vigil.
He also...
Vigil.
He also did a lot of work on Witchblade.
That's fun to say. Vigil.
He does Sunstone. He did a lot of work on...
So he's very, very prolific.
Yes. Hardly, you know, I think he and his wife are the only two people in the world that know how to pronounce his name. But,
what's that gonna say?
Why I can't say his name because it's like, fuck if I know how to say his name. He's that guy, the Sunstone guy.
Sunstone guy. I think it's a good name.
Anyway,
he's getting credit for his work.
There was a panel that he did of the two girlfriends, where someone took that panel and pretty much traced it and put it and made it into a Harley Quinn and Ivy fan art. Fans were outraged, naturally, but
ooh, so that was like soft porn, soft piracy, but it still outraged people.
That guy, yeah, soft piracy that maybe got a little harder. I would like to say the Tracer at least gave the artist credit for inspiring the picture, because when the artist got involved, he wasn't outraged or anything. He was like, yeah, you trace my art. You know, at least you're not claiming you're not selling it. You're not claiming
Well, if they weren't selling
originality.
it, then
Yeah, be nice to see you put out some original art because you know your tracing looks great. So get some original content out there.
well, I mean, I think we discussed tracing a long time ago about how one good thing about fan art, one really good benefit about fan art, besides the fact that it promotes the artist's work, is that it helps you gain skills. Um, I probably should have done more fan art than I have done.
Yeah.
My fan art, honest to God, was mostly Inspector Gadget stuff. So, yeah.
And there's always the process, the fanfic writer or the fan. What do you call it? Fan art artist. You know, they'll piggyback back for a bit during the stage of growth, but then after a while they branch out into their own content.
Yeah.
So,
but you do it with some skills that you've gained in the meantime.
Yes. So you're using, you're actually being inspired by someone's creativity. You piggyback back a little bit while still giving intellectual and artistic credit, and then you fly off on your own with the fond memories of it's like, how did you get into drawing? It's like, oh, I drew fanfic of this thing.
I mean, sometimes I'll still do fan art.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll do satire fan art. You know, those crossovers like you'll see on t-shirts and stuff. Those are satire fan art. And yeah, they do kind of fall into the piracy realms, but you know what? There's shades of gray. There's shades of gray.
Yeah, and the shades of gray are determined on your actions as the pirateur, and your actions.
Yeah.
Yeah, your actions and the result of your actions and the consequences that they have to the thing you're pirating, be them small or large. So are we saying it's okay to pirate if you have just a small minimum impact? Depends on the impact.
Well, it depends on what your outcome is.
Yeah.
It isn't that it's, I can pirate a little, I can pirate a lot. It's, am I harming? It's like, well, I'm not harming anyone. Okay.
Are you sure about that?
I mean, final example of how piracy actually can harm is there was this documentary, and the people pretty much raised money, and it was very expensive production. They had to travel overseas and stuff, and then they put it out, and it was very much anticipated documentary, and people pirated it, and they pirated it to the extent that these people lost money. When you make a movie, you're doing an investment, and the gains from people paying to watch in any form whatever is how you get your money back and hopefully make a profit. If nothing else, you hope to break even. They didn't even break even. And it is expensive to make a film. Even on the indie front, it is expensive. And they lost because of piracy.
Mm-hmm.
So piracy has goods and bads. It just really depends on the situation. I don't hold anything against somebody that genuinely can't afford this, especially if it's a minor creator and they're going to end up supporting that creator spiritually through word of mouth or some other way, besides money. Because there's people who can afford it and they're going to put their money where their mouth is, God bless them. And then there's people that can't afford it and they're going to put their actions where their mouth is, God bless them.
Mm-hmm.
But it really just depends on where you're going with that. I think the biggest problem with the piracy and how it can help or hurt is that the same people that end up hurting the small creator, even if they don't mean to, through any of the negative actions that we ended up covering, are the same people that will take Disney and promote Disney and talk about Disney and push Disney and on Disney's latest thing forward and spend energy out on that, so that they're doing what the small creator desperately needs for a big conglomeration that has a really huge promotion budget. And although it helps them, the small creator needs it a bit more. So it's all in consequence. You know, I'm a firm believer in the First Amendment. You know,
We're also a firm believer in its
but
First Amendment has consequences.
everything has consequences. There's, you know, for every initial force, you know, for every action there is a reaction.
And if you can live with that reaction, then good for you. If you can't, then you need to.
And by the way, I don't mean, oh, well, that means that people need to have their history dug up from 7 years ago and have their entire careers ruined for something that they've had grown past and matured past.
Yeah.
That's not consequences, unless you want the consequence of how what that happens to you for being the person that did that to them. Because for every action, there's a reaction.
Because it's like, you know.
So in the end, the conclusion is piracy can be good, piracy can be bad. It really does depend on the pirate. I think it depends on the pirate. But, all right, my voice is tired. I'm quitting, and if this didn't take, I ain't doing it again.